talk about users being banned because it's a big thing on Whatnot. I'm just talking about normal, everyday type of conversation.
It's the one-to-many. The many can also communicate with us.
And we've made it a point on our channel to kind of embrace the crazy a little bit. Welcome to Seller Stories episode Dose with Joe and Chad.
Dude. Pardon me, Mr. Microphone. Still getting used to this, you know? It's only our second episode.
Hey, Joe,
Hey, Chad.
when's our next show?
For what?
When's our next show together
For Coin Crew, you're saying?
for Coin Crew?
I don't know the answer to that question. Is it Friday?
Yes,
Oh, is it the Friday the 13th spectacular?
it is.
Tips and tricks, learn how to do what we do?
It's going to be scary. Well, no, two things. One, we're going to do a show in the morning where we're actually going to sell stuff.
So we're doing our 8 a.m. show like normal.
8 a.m. like normal, and then Whatnot tips and tricks at 3.
And when we say like normal, we mean like we usually do, but that's not really normal, let's be honest.
That's what we're going to talk about.
We are different, and at least we like to think better than most other shows.
Well, I mean, the community support has been amazing. The feedback that we've gotten has been pretty incredible.
That's true. Customer reviews are fantastic. We're 5s across the board.
But more importantly, I think it's the comments that we get during the stream
They're pretty cool too.
where
Cut
And-
to all of the cool comments.
I've screenshotted a couple of them
There we go. They
From-
should be probably.
for moments just like this.
That was Kelly Clarkson's song when she won American Idol season 1.
Oh boy, cue the Kelly Clarkson.
Cue the Kelly Clarkson. You're welcome, executive producer.
No, like when people talk about the vibe of the show, it takes me back to what you and I would talk about before we even hosted our first show.
Yeah. Like, make it entertaining, and we happen to be selling things.
Right, like the selling of the things is the afterthought
Yeah, it's almost secondary to actually the entertainment value, the enjoyment factor.
to the show.
Come and hang out. I don't care if you buy anything or not. Hang out.
Hang out, communicate, participate, engage with other people that are in the chat, engage with us, the hosts of the show. We'll have a fun time. And oh, by the way, we're running auctions simultaneously.
Yeah.
And it's been a very neat arc to ideate with you about what that should look like and then execute it
Watching it come to fruition.
and watching it come to life, which is going to be incredible when we begin to spawn new channels in different categories using this entertainment community sales framework.
No, it's amazing. I think, and I find myself doing this too, by the way. I crave live interaction.
Yeah.
Even podcasts are feeling stale to me
Because they're recorded.
because they're recorded.
So this
90%
right now-
of the time, right? Now you got Kill Tony that's not recorded, that's live, right?
Right.
That's awesome to watch. But they're on to something there, right? Which is what we've kind of picked up on without even realizing it. Right? I mean, we've kind of planned it out, but that idea that like everything that's old becomes new again is like there was that time when everyone got in front of the TV and watched whatever that show was. Right? Everyone watched MASH, the last episode. You know, when Sopranos used to come on and HBO, for those of us who are our age, you know, everyone sat down and watched it on Sunday night at 8 o'clock or whatever it was on HBO at the same time. People had viewing parties. Well, that's now starting to come back virtually.
Because of live selling.
Because of live selling, there's some other
And other
things too.
streamers on Twitch.
Discord and TikTok and Twitch.
Yeah.
They're doing some live stuff, but this is incorporating it into, you know, commerce in a way that isn't just pay me money by clicking the button because you like what I'm doing. You're actually getting something in exchange for it other than the entertainment.
Yeah.
So you're kind of getting entertainment plus a cool item that's worth whatever you're paying for it.
Well, you're getting that in some places.
Well, for us, I'm saying at On the Coin Crew channel.
On the Coin
I'm not
Crew
speaking
channel,
for everyone on Whatnot.
on the Coin Crew channel, I think especially during the AM hours, which is interesting because we only are doing the AM hours because my dad's brain turns off at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and he's up at 4 a.m.
I think you're giving him a lot of credit to taking him to 4 o'clock.
Yeah, maybe it's earlier than
Maybe
that.
it's like 12:30.
It could be 12:30. But but my point is he wanted to go live early in the morning. And I just want to hang out with him. So now I set my alarm for early in the morning and I feel like I'm in high school again because I typically a late go to bed person and a late wake up person, but now that whole thing has shifted because of Coin Crew, because of what we're doing on the channel. And what it feels like to me, and I don't know if it feels like this to you, is that we're told that people listen to us in their car.
Mm-hmm.
We're told that people listen to us while they're at work.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels to me like that is very akin to a radio show.
Absolutely. It's the morning zoo concept, you know? It's for those who live in the Philly area, it's the DeBella show, right? The morning zoo on WMMR.
Right.
It's the Howard Stern show on whatever that you would listen to
Or
there.
Opie and Anthony.
It's that morning show. We're not as crazy and ridiculous as those guys, but the idea is still the same, which is you know that at 8 o'clock on the days that we're scheduled, you can join us and you're going to hang out with your friends. It's almost, and what we've created is like a Cheers episode kind of a scenario.
That is a very good analogy.
Right? It's like, oh, Norm, right? Except it's not Norm. It's
Right.
it's Interested or it's T-Book. You know, it's
Yeah.
those guys. So they're able to engage with us. I love, and I've used this term before, it's the one-to-many. But what's cool about this is the many can also communicate with us. So it's also the
Yeah.
many to one. So where the morning shows that we're talking about could only communicate with one person at a time via a phone call. So you've got 9 million people waiting online and struggling to get in. They're just typing in the chat. And as long as we're keeping up with the chat, which we've been able to do decently, they're able to communicate with us too.
Everyone's voice is heard.
So it's like watching The Sopranos and being able to communicate with those guys on screen.
You know what's
It's
interesting?
really cool.
Let's talk about users being banned because it's a big thing on Whatnot.
Yeah, it is.
Where people will come into a show, they'll ask questions a couple of times, their question wasn't read, so they'll write their question in again, and the host might think that they're spamming the chat, and then they'll just either the host will ban or the moderator of the channel will ban the person, right? And there might be some things they're looking out for that if the person ever says this thing or if a person ever shows this type of content, then we're just immediately going to ban them, right? And of course, there's nefarious stuff that you're going to want to get rid of anyway, but I'm not even talking about that. I'm just talking about normal, everyday type of conversation where some hosts will just ban you. And we've made it a point on our channel to kind of embrace the crazy a little bit, where we allow conversations to take place in our chat that are healthy, by the way. They're not going to upset anyone.
Nothing hateful, nothing overly.
No.
Yeah.
But we've allowed some banter to go on in our chat that other channels probably wouldn't. And we tell the chat that we embrace this. And I believe it's kind of created this community of people that may have been excluded from other channels that are finding our show as a place where they could be themselves and where they're accepted and where they can communicate with other people that are kind of in that same vein.
Yeah.
And that adds a special dynamic to the show.
What is pretty wild is when we hear from those folks that come in and tell us they got banned and the reasons that they got banned.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you would expect people to get banned for hate speech, for anything that's just, you know, overtly trying to derail the direction of the show. But the things that people are telling us they're getting banned about, like asking questions about coins, like a simple question like, hey guys, I understand that that's a 90% silver proof coin. Why is it commanding over
Spot.
spot melt price? So other people other hosts are looking at that and going, oh, he's just arguing with the prices that things are selling for, so we're going to block him.
Right.
Whereas we recognize that that's a newbie who's asking a real question. He's not trying to tell people they're getting ripped off. He really doesn't understand why is that 90% silver that if you do the math is worth $78, why is it selling for $120? Well, it's because there's numismatic value beyond the melt value.
Right.
Well, these guys don't know what that is. So we're acting as the education source for these guys and gals that have never done this before.
For a lot of them. And then we get to tap into the folks that are in our room that are experts, where even if the hosts don't have the answers, we say, listen, we don't know, but I'm sure someone in the chat knows. Hey, help out John 428.
And that's that awesome community.
Yeah.
And it comes from, I believe, being decent people and showing that and not excluding people because they don't know or because it's derailing the show or whatever per minute type value these other shows are trying to get. We're looking at it holistically and we're saying, no, we're building a community here.
So how important do you think emotional intelligence is when it comes to being a host? In the vein that we're kind of promoting on, if you want to create a similar type of vibe that we've created at Coin Crew, you know, what are the types of traits a host should have to be able to execute?
Yeah. I mean, right off the bat, it can't be taught. I really don't think it can be taught. I think you've got somebody who's got the gift of gab or doesn't.
Well, you also may have someone that needs to come out of their shell. So if they're paired with a host that is seasoned and has some experience, they can prompt, you know, someone new that's coming into it and get them out of their shell a little bit.
You still need one of them that has it.
Yeah.
For sure. And it doesn't, when I say it can't be taught, it comes from experience. It comes from life experience. Can it be taught? Yeah, probably. But the amount of time that takes, like you're talking years.
But when you say it can't be taught, you know, there's going to be a bunch of people watching or listening to this that are thinking, well, if it can't be taught, I don't know if I have it or not. Is this for me?
Yeah, that's a tough question. I think what I mean by it can't be taught is if you try to set up a list of things that will make you gregarious in nature or to be seen that way by the chat or by the crowd.
It's inauthentic.
It's going to come, it's going to come out as inauthentic. It's going to come out as fake.
Right. So you need
So
to
it
be
has to
your
be-
authentic self.
It has to be authentic.
So you need to be your authentic self. And maybe it's not to the level of the morning zoo aspect of it, right? Because you might not be going live in the morning and that might not be your vibe. But as long as you're communicating and you are yourself and you know how to keep the show going and you're making sure that there aren't long gaps in between words, you know, or you're not ignoring the chat for extended periods of time, then as long as you, and look, a lot of people don't want to be on camera. They want to be behind the camera, and you can operate that way also. As long as you could do those things, you can go live. But I think what you're saying is if you want to kick it to the next level, then it's something you either have to grow into, but it's not something, if you don't have it right off the bat, you could jump into day one.
I think if I were to put it all into kind of a nice, concise box, I think I would say there is a framework within which you should be working. And that framework is like the things that you just talked about. Make sure you're constantly recognizing and interacting with the chat. Don't let that go silent. Don't have dead air. Make sure there's something entertaining. Put together a list of questions that you can ask based on whatever current pop culture things that are currently in the news. Obviously, try to relate it back to whatever your channel is. But I don't think you should ever be trying to change who you are in order to gain an audience and sell more things, because it will be seen as inauthentic.
And it won't last.
And you can see the differences if you go through the different types of channels. And at the end of the day, there's enough people on these channels that you will find your people who are interested in your style. And as long as you work within that framework, you'll find the people that are interested in your style. You're going to have a much different experience if you're in a channel that's selling candy than you will if you're in a channel that's selling Star Wars Lego things. These are different types of people inherently.
You know, that's a really good point, because the different categories, like if you're a new buyer or a new seller and you're exploring the Whatnot app to determine, well, which category should I start with as a seller, you will see different show formats across the board, right? We created a document on the different show formats on the different categories. You know, so when we want to enter a certain category, we could be like, all right, what show format is going to work for us here? Or do we want to trailblaze, right? Do we want to take a show format that has worked with this channel and implement it in a category that doesn't have anything like it?
And by show format, just so that everybody knows, we're talking about whether it's a gamification, whether it's a single buy it now type thing, if it's flash sales, if it's auctions, that's the kind of stuff you're talking about.
Yeah, or even what the stream looks like.
Okay, aesthetically, is it
what
highly produced OBS? Is it
Yes.
a guy in a camera?
Yeah,
That kind of stuff.
Is there no face? It's just a person behind the camera just
Right.
showing the product. Is it a person demonstrating the product? Is it podcast style where you see the people talking about it and you just see, and then you see their hands
Yep.
below, like the podcast style? Like there are all these different ways to present your stream,
Mhm.
and finding the right way to present your stream in specific categories varies.
But at the end of the day, if you go back to what I was saying about work within the framework but be yourself, you should choose something that you're interested in.
You're
It
saying
should-
from what you're going to sell.
I'm saying not just from what you're going to sell, but the aesthetics.
How?
All of it. It should reflect you.
Yeah. And then when you look
Because
at
if it doesn't, people will pick that up.
Coin Crew, when you say it should reflect you,
Mm-hmm.
number one, we talked about podcast style, right? Which is kind of what we're doing. And people have used that term in the chat, which is insane because they never thought I would see that,
Mm-hmm.
which is like, wow, this is like a podcast.
Yeah,
But you guys
without
are
our
selling-
prompting.
Without even saying anything
Yeah.
about it. They refer to it as a podcast and
Mhm.
compare it to other podcasts, which is just blows my mind.
Yeah.
But the OBS, which is a little bit more technical, right? And OBS is how you stream multi-camera. It's how you have different graphics and sounds associated with your show. Like, we're technical people. We like leaning into the AI graphics and creating music and creating sound bites and different backgrounds. Like, that has become part of the fabric of our show, which is different, wildly different than anything else you see out there, which I think has led to why we went from like 0 to Premiere Shop in 90 days with 13,000 followers relatively quickly. But it's leaning into all of those things. So like if you're not a technical person by nature, then forget about all the OBS stuff. You could have a great stream and do great business and build a great community because it's happening without any of that.
There's plenty of streamers out there that have a camera, I'm sorry, a phone, and they're not in front of the camera, they're behind it, and they're doing just fine.
Yes. So like that
There's also
exists.
outsourcing options.
That exists, but we like, I guess, to be more complicated. And
Well, we know how to do it, and we enjoy doing it. So why
Yeah.
not?
exactly.
If we can take 5 minutes to figure it out and then know how to have buttons so that we have different sound effects and cool effects going on the screen and everything else, why not? We enjoy doing it. We know how to do it, so why not?
And I remember in the beginning
But that reflects our personalities.
when we first started doing that, we were asked so many questions about it. You remember? People were like, how are you guys making these sounds? What tools are you using? And these are people that just kind of like that are in the coin community, which prompted us to create a Whatnot Tips and Tricks show, which we're going to be hosting. By the time you see this, it might have been out already. But the Whatnot Tips and Tricks show, we're going to do the first one. And I say first because I suspect that it's going to be well received and that there will be more that follow, which is going to be a lot of fun because we're going to be able to help other sellers and we're going to be able to educate people that are just curious. Like, I bet there's a bunch of people that watch our shows that have no interest in starting their own channels or selling or anything. They just want the behind the scenes. They just want, hey, how are you doing that? I didn't realize you focus so much on the production. All they see is the output. All they see is, yeah, the show's happening and here we are. They're not thinking, we've been planning this for weeks or months. Like when we did Pennypalooza, right? We created a sizzle reel that we aired multiple times a day for weeks leading up to that event, right? We created a brand new background. We created new sound bites, all for this show that we had for one day. And then that was it. And we got messages from community members after the show that were like, you know what, it's one thing to hype up a show and it's another thing to actually deliver. And you guys did both. Like, bravo. All I know about China is that they are doing way more business in live selling than the United States is at the moment. But that may be short-lived because the United States is rapidly catching up. But as far as like exactly what's going on in China, like they're using the biggest social influencers to come in and do sales. So not that, well, I guess it is a lot different. Like Whatnot just had Mr. Beast in, to build awareness for Whatnot. And I'm sure they added a couple 100,000 users, but they're actually getting big time influencers to sell. And that's more, I think, what's happening on TikTok as opposed to Whatnot, where big time influencers are now starting to sell on TikTok Shop. And the more people do that, the more influencers, period, that already have large audiences migrate to live selling and have a product to sell on live selling. That's what is going to end up exploding live selling in America.
So it feels to me like the only difference between what's going on in China with Whatnot, live selling, what was the other word we were using? Was it community commerce?
Yeah, community commerce.
Community commerce. The only thing that's different, in my opinion, is the timeline. They just started earlier. So
Okay.
whereas in America it's free,
Okay.
it's free market economy, and now the market is going to lead the way. So it's just taking, I believe it's just taking longer because of the differences in the economies between China and the U.S. But it's going to, we all know that's where it's headed
It
in
is
terms of
absolutely,
numbers.
it is absolutely where it's headed. And I
This
think
is the future.
what we can count on in America and what we can count on as far as where and why the growth is going to happen are celebrities and influencers that already have tremendous followings on these other platforms entering the live selling game in some capacity, whether they're spokespeople for products that already exist or they're going to be the face of a product that they're behind.
So I would say that I think that influencers and people like that going on will supercharge the growth. But even if that didn't happen, I believe we're still going to get to the same numbers. It just might take longer if the influencers aren't getting 1 million users on there at once, like the Mr. Beast stuff did.
Yeah.
But I don't think that that's what's driving the growth. I think that's just driving the speed of the growth. The growth's going to happen regardless. It's like eBay. eBay didn't have influencers going on to tell you should be on eBay.
Right. Influencers didn't exist.
It grew because people liked it, because it filled a niche, it filled a hole, it filled a void. Well, live selling is filling a bunch of different voids, some of which we already talked about, which is that connection to other people, that live, we're all here together and interacting. Even if it's not in person, we're still interacting, as opposed to watching a previously recorded something or listening to a podcast that was pre-recorded that you can't interact with.
Yeah. You have to show up to be there, but the awareness is going to come quickly from celebrities and influencers.
Absolutely, like anything else today.
Yeah.
You want to sell a product, get Kim Kardashian to endorse it.
Bingo.
Right? If it was 15 years ago, you'd have Oprah put it on her show and her favorite things. Right? That's no different than this. That's always going to be a thing.
Yep. And it's fun. And it's fun. And I think that the more influencers that are already making content and that are already live streaming. Like the crossover that we're going to see between Twitch streamers and Whatnot and TikTok Shop streamers is going to be a very fun thing to unpack.
You say people are going to be moving from those other categories or those other platforms to Whatnot?
It's going to be an and, not an or. So I think like some of the most popular streamers on Twitch are going to end up also streaming on Whatnot and on TikTok Shop, as long as they're not in an exclusive arrangement with Twitch, and they will either endorse or have their own products. And they're going to bring that audience that has been living on Twitch now to Whatnot and TikTok Shop so they can engage with them there in a different way.
So it's interesting. I think there would probably be two different factors that would affect that or that would create the desire to move to those other channels. One is just basic business. If you want to continue to grow, how do you do so? And once you've gotten to the point where you feel like you've maxed out that channel, right? In this case, Discord or
Twitch.
Twitch. In this case, Twitch. Then it's like, okay, well, how do I expand? Well, there's these other platforms. I should jump into them. The other thing is Twitch ever, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Twitch doesn't charge.
To watch?
They don't charge a fee to sell. So in other words, if you're on Twitch and you're live and you're selling things, that's not being facilitated by Twitch, correct?
No. I'm not an expert here, so
Okay.
I don't know for sure. But with, Amazon owns Twitch.
Okay.
So, and Amazon is entering the live selling space
Yep.
naturally. And there are already programs through Twitch where this Amazon selling, which is more like affiliate selling. So it's very similar to like TikTok Shop affiliates,
Yep.
where you can talk about a product and then if people buy it, then you get a commission.
Okay.
You're not actually doing the shipping or the fulfillment or the customer service or anything.
Okay, so
or
that would be
anything like
one aspect of it. But
Yeah.
what I'm talking about is I'm on Twitch and I'm selling my sports cards, or I'm selling my coins or my bullion.
I'm not familiar enough to even know.
Okay, that would all be facilitated outside of Twitch,
Well, there's probably against TOS if that's happening.
and there's going to be a point where Twitch and these other platforms are going to create
Oh, they are already.
a way for you to live sell, so
Absolutely.
that they can get their piece of it.
Yeah, because like the
And
same
when
thing
that
on Meta.
happens-
Because Instagram and Facebook, like people are selling outside of the
Marketplace
platform
and everything else.
Yeah.
And when that happens, then these guys and gals are going to say, okay, Twitch doesn't offer me the same benefits as it used to. They're going to charge me 8%, 9%, whatever it is. Well, I might as well go sell on these other platforms that are charging that anyway.
Yeah.
So I think that's the other factor that could facilitate that kind of growth outside of just a Twitch.
Yeah, and then there's YouTube, right? There's plenty of YouTube streamers, plenty of streamers on YouTube that aren't streaming on Twitch, aren't streaming anywhere else, and a lot of them work on tips right now, right? So as they're streaming, people will send them tips, right, which is very similar on Twitch. But they're going to be selling stuff too. But the reason I love Whatnot over all of those different alternatives is because when you think about the different live streaming platforms and you think about shopping on those platforms, when users go into Whatnot, they're going to Whatnot to buy. It's like you don't go on Amazon to be entertained. You go on Amazon because you're looking for something to buy. Whether you're going to save it later or you're going to buy it now or whatever, you're looking at products to buy. When you go on eBay, you're looking for something to buy, or you're doing research on something that you're thinking about buying, right? When you go on YouTube or Twitch or TikTok, you're either like doom scrolling or you're looking for someone you subscribe to because you want to watch your latest video that came out. You're not necessarily looking to buy something.
It's more entertainment first.
It's more entertainment first. And Whatnot, you're going there to buy something. So if you focus on being a streamer on Whatnot with something to offer or the product to offer, it's a very different dynamic. So like that transition from Twitch or YouTube streamer to live shopping streamer is there's definitely going to be a learning curve for those guys that want to do it. However, their unfair advantage is they already have the gift of knowing how to entertain, and they know how to hold a room, and they know how to engage with the chat. So as someone who aspires to be a whatnot streamer / seller, one thing you could do is to go watch Twitch, go watch YouTube Live, and figure out what these guys are doing to hold their audience. And then bring some of those learnings to your whatnot stream that you could then weave into your show to hold your audience, which will ultimately build your room and get you higher bids on the things that you're selling. So let's talk about the next 12 to 36 months of live selling. What does that look like to you?
That is a really broad question.
Well,
what does it look like in terms of users? What does it look like in terms of effect on the economy? What does it look like in terms of number of channels? What does it look like in terms of
what
consolidation in the space, which is probably going to happen?
What tickles your balls about it?
Ooh. What tickles my balls about it?
Yeah.
Tickles my balls about it. What am I excited about?
Mm.
What excites me for the future of live selling? I think what excites me, well, we talked about it earlier, that we both have technical minds. So I'm excited to see how AI plays a role in all of this and what that means to the future of live selling.
What do you think it means?
Well, we're already seeing in China that there are AI bots that are selling that obviously don't get tired and, you know, cars don't break down and don't have kids they need to get home to and all the other things that could potentially limit human beings, right? So it'd be very interesting to see the adoption of that.
Do you think that buyers are going to respond positively or negatively to that?
Yeah, so that's what I meant by it'll be interesting to see the adoption.
And what do you think about the platforms themselves? Are the platforms going to allow it, or are the platforms going?
The platforms would be fiscally irresponsible if they did not allow it.
Now, do you think there's going to
Their
have
investors would stop investing in them if they didn't allow it?
What about transparency? So,
Like this is AI or something on the screen.
yeah.
I don't know that it matters. It's not like we're talking about a news source.
Well, we talked about authenticity and inauthenticity. So where do you think this?
There's absolutely going to be those who prefer to be on a show with an actual live human being, and that'll be our group. And then there's going to be people that don't care that it's an AI robot because they just want to get their awesome nails at the cheapest price. And they don't care about the other aspect of it, right? That's why they make vanilla and chocolate ice cream. There's people that are going to be interested in certain things and people that are going to be interested in other things. So I think there's room for all of it. But I do think it's interesting to see how that's going to happen, how it takes place. I believe there's going to be an entire market that opens up around just that.
AI influencers selling things.
Oh, you want to go live next week and you've got a product to sell? Buy or rent our AI Jonathan, who's the best vacuum salesperson in the world. And then you could sell your vacuums. You know, there's going to be a ton of that. There's going to be a whole markets that are created around all that and economies that are created around that.
Yeah, there will be agencies that develop AI salespeople that are professional streamers that they can hire out their services to either be live on their channels or to have their product highlighted on the agency's channels.
Yep. But I truly believe in the free market system, and I think that the market will decide what they want.
And by market, you mean
Where the dollars are
the
spent.
buyers.
Where the dollars are spent. Right? If it's cost effective to spin up an AI whatever that can sell your stuff, and what I mean by cost effective is if there's going to be enough buyers that are interested in watching an AI thing do its thing after the novelty runs out, because obviously there's going to be a ton of novelty associated with that. After the novelty runs out, if people still want to watch it and still want to buy things on that channel and it's profitable, then it's going to continue. And if people prefer human interaction and they don't go to those channels and buy things, then it's going to go away.
Yeah. I would agree. I mean, I see a world where in the relatively short order this year, that we will be inundated with AI sellers.
Yeah.
More so in an affiliate sales channel as opposed to maybe something you would see on Whatnot, where the majority of people are shipping what they're selling. Right? If you can get an AI to demonstrate a product and have it be purchased, and all of the fulfillment and customer service and everything else is handled by the owner of the company that you sold the product for, that lends itself more to the AI influencer model as opposed to the seller of estate sale items that they just picked up.
I think either way can be profitable and sustainable. It's just you're going to see way more of the crypto bro type guys that want to just spin it up as a affiliate model. It's no different than what they did, what everyone was doing 5 years ago with Amazon fulfillment, like that whole model,
or
FBO model. Like this is the same thing.
Or people that built websites for companies back in 2008.
It's the same kind of thing, right? And
Right.
just like that other stuff, it's going to get shaken out by the free market. People are going to decide if that's where they want to go or not.
Yeah.
It'll be a fad for a little while. And if I don't know, the world's going to change so much over the next 5 years, as we know.
5 months.
Well, but I believe that in 5 months, it's not going to be recognizable to many of us.
On what's AI and what's not.
No, just what the world looks like, how world economies operate, what legal tender looks like, all of that stuff, I think is going to be completely different 5 years from now than it is today, and maybe sooner than that. So to be able to predict or stipulate what's going to happen in this small segment of the world at large that we're talking about, which is live selling, is super tough because the entire world could look different 3 or 5 years
So
from now.
how much more important do you think it is for people to learn more about live selling today? If we're going more and more digital and more disconnected from human to human behavior, where does that put live selling on the scale of importance in society? Like where the most important thing is like going to a live event. I'm going to my favorite concert and there's going to be 10,000 other people with me all enjoying the same thing, and that gives me something that no AI bot could ever give me, right? That feeling of belonging and community. Or going to a sporting event where we're all cheering for the same team, right? Where is live selling on that scale?
So it's interesting.
With a human to human behavior.
Yeah, it's
standpoint?
interesting. I think to clarify, when I'm saying that the world could look different, just to start out with, when I'm saying the world could look completely different, I'm not necessarily saying that it means that people are going to be sitting in front of their computers and not interacting with each other anymore. But in that landscape that you're saying is a possibility, and I believe is a possibility also, I would say that live selling is very important because it does bring back that person-to-person type of touch. Now that flies in the face of what we were just talking about with AI and all that stuff, but that's what I'm saying. The free market will figure it out. And if people decide that I'm not getting enough human to human contact because I'm on my computer and my robots are doing everything for me that I used to be out and about doing, then yeah, it becomes that much more important in the world because it's another way for you to interact with other people.
So the channels that focus on human behavior as opposed to AI behavior should have an upper hand, you would think.
I mean, at the very least, they'll have an upper hand in those environments or for those people who prefer that type of connection.
Right. And then you're going to have people that don't care.
And then you'll have the people that don't care. Like the example I gave earlier, just want the best price on the nails possible. And if it's a robot selling it to them and they can get the same nails for $2.50 instead of $5 on the people channel, then they're going to stick with the robot.
So at Live Buys,
But they might buy the nails from the robot, but then go into the channel with the real people to hang out.
so
And
here's
that's okay too.
here's what I'm curious about. And maybe we could ask the question. If I want to know how the public feels about this.
How the public feels
About potentially buying products from an AI influencer / live seller.
I don't think people are going to care because what's the difference between that and just going on Amazon and clicking on it and there's a button there that says Amazon recommended or Amazon whatever.
No, it's a lot different when you're going into a live stream and there's a so-called person presenting or conversing with you or demonstrating a product. Like that's a completely different feeling. It's a different experience from the buyer standpoint. So my question would be, like, would you be willing to buy from a robot on a live stream? Does that change your mind about anything? Like I'd love to know in the comment section or the chat of this clip if you would be prone to buying from a robot or if you would be deterred from buying from a robot. Like, what's your vibe? Like,
I think that's probably going to the people that say no, I'm not buying from a robot would probably fit into a broader category of people that don't want to see robots take jobs and don't want to see robots potentially take over, whatever that means in their head.
I think the younger generation, like the college kids right now,
will embrace it more.
No.
Really?
I think they're more opposed to AI because they feel like it's getting forced down their throats. And I think there's a strong opposition to AI right now because people are afraid of what the future looks like, because people are afraid of their jobs. And those that are in college right now, they're going to be entering the workforce. They're going to have a tougher time than any generation before them.
So I agree with everything you just said, except the part about those people of that age being against AI. I agree with everything you said. It's likely to make it more difficult because jobs are going to be dwindling, like the opportunities are going to be getting smaller. But I don't think that the vast majority of that age group has thought about it.
Well, we're going to find out, aren't we? Because they're going to let us know in the comments. Like, how old are you, and are you for or against AI? like, do you think it's a benefit to your life, or do you think it is bad for humanity? Is it a humanity enhancer, or is it a humanity detractor?
You know what we need?
A poll.
Aliens.
What would happen with the aliens?
Aliens, I believe, the only thing that could get countries united
is the one alien that came down and be like, listen, we're actually in charge. And then all the countries would be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Hey guys, everyone, there's aliens. They're really in charge.
Not exactly how I was thinking about it. I was thinking about it more of like a Independence Day movie, if you're familiar with that. Like,
Where we all rally against the aliens. Let me
Yes.
tell you something about the aliens. If they're coming here intergalactically, we have no shot, Joe.
potentially.
I think the executive producer. Now,
I believe in the human spirit.
here's what's most likely. What's most likely is the aliens are here. They've been here. They've always been here. They've been here before us. They'll be here after us. They've inhabited Earth either interdimensionally, likely interdimensionally. They can make themselves seen when they want to be, or they can be invisible when they want to be.
Do you think they live in the ocean?
100%. There's bases in the ocean. And they could decide, like, we're cohabitors of Earth. That's the most likely scenario. Not intergalactic space travel. It's more likely that there is intelligence on Earth that has been here before us, that will be here after us. And they just get pissed off when we like blow up nuclear bombs because that fucks with them. As long as we're not doing that, then everything's copacetic.
We got way off on the aliens there.
It was good. It was good talking about this stuff with you, Joe, as it is always, every day. Cool. Glad you shared my sentiments. We'll see you next time on Seller Stories.